mic. Is that going to be a problem?
I will just need to see the name that they've signed in.
Okay, it's Gabriel Escalante. I'm going to forward it to him again.
Okay.
Right now, but okay.
No problem. We are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I see a few people are getting connected, so we'll just wait a moment. Hello, welcome back to day one of Fanshawe Works. We're very happy to have everyone here. This afternoon session is our Fanshawe Works International Alumni Panel, which is great for you to have an opportunity to speak and hear from recent graduates who are now working in their fields and fully employed. And they're so happy to be here and speaking with you, with new students who are starting their journey at Fanshawe, which is fantastic. I'm just going to wait another minute and let everyone get their audio connected. For anyone who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Caitlin Smith. I work in the international office supporting students through arrival and quarantine. I'm happy to say that I am also an alumni of Fanshawe. I graduated from the project management program in 2014, so a few years ago now, and I will be moderating this panel. We're also joined by 3 other alumni who will be speaking to you today. We'll introduce them in just a moment. Before we get started, some housekeeping. Everyone will stay on mute during the presentation. If you have questions for the panelists, you're welcome to ask them, and we'll address those at the end. And with that, I'm going to get us started here. So, sorry about that. So I'd like to have each of our alumni panelists introduce themselves, tell us what program you studied at Fanshawe, what year you graduated, and where you are currently working. And we will start with Gabriel. Hi, Gabriel.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the globe, to students. And well, I'm Gabriel Escalante. I graduated from the Honors Bachelor of Commerce at Fanshawe. And I recently was employed in the as a digital marketing coordinator in Syntheca. And it probably was one of the best experiences I had in Fanshawe. They prepared me pretty well for what I had to do in the real world. And they did assist me a lot in many ways, such as resume building, creating connections, and making a lot of friends.
That's great. And we'll hear more about that through the questions. So thank you for joining us today. Next, we are joined by Ricardo Souza.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry about the noise. My fire alarm just hit. I hope I'll be fine until the end of this presentation. So it's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for inviting me, Caitlin. My name is Ricardo Souza. I am from Brazil, as you can see. This picture was from 2 days ago because I finished my program. So the best feeling ever. And I am the current communication and student advocacy at FSU. And also I was elected as the next president. So probably I'm gonna see many of you during the next year, and I'm excited for it. And just like one fact, 1.5 years ago, I was starting my first day at Fanshawe in the same event at Fanshawe Works, and I was remembering today that I was sitting in the first chair. Once upon a time was possible to be in person, right? So it's kind of a super pleasure to be here today talking to you about my experience. Thank you.
That's great. From participant to panelist, that's fantastic. We're so happy to have you here. And our final panelist today is Abinav Tawari. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. So Abinav, I have been graduated from Fanshawe in 2013. Did 2 programs, information security management and project management, from one of the greatest professors in the world, Fanshawe has helped over the years in many different ways. So I'm glad to be part of this panel, and thank you so much, Caitlin, for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. We're thrilled to have you all here today to share your experiences with students. So to get started, our first question is, we'd like to know, when you were a student at Fanshawe throughout your studies, what helped you to start preparing for your future career while you were a student? And we'll start with Ricardo. So what services did you access? What did you find useful as a student to help you prepare for your career after graduation?
Awesome. This is a great question. I think the first step you've already took, because it's like being here at Fanshawe Works. It was my first step as well, and I think it was awesome. I remember that was my first event at the college, so I didn't know anyone here in London, and it was an opportunity to get to know Caitlin and to get to know Darlene. Darlene was the first person that smiled to me that day, and I left this event with 2 cards. And that I discovered, I started my networking process. So I think this is like you are a first step ahead if you are here today, because I think you are starting this kind of connections. Also, we have many great services at the career services. And yeah, I think this was like the beginning of the process to get here today. I think get involved and get like the more information you get, the better, at least this initial process, because we don't know much about the Canadian workplace. We don't know about the resume and how to prepare your cover letter and how to prepare everything. So I think the first step is like be involved and get engaged in all the opportunities, because you have a lot to learn. Each country has like their own way to start your job search, and Canada is not different. So
yeah, it's never too early to get started and to take advantages of the opportunities that Fanshawe is offering. So yeah, a great point about even just coming today and participating in all the seminars today and tomorrow will set you on the right path, hopefully. Gabriel, what services, did you take advantage of while you were a student that you think has helped you in your job search after graduation?
Thanks, Caitlin. So, like as Ricardo said, there's many services that you can take advantage in at Fanshawe. The networking aspect is really important, and by far one of the services that it was really helpful for me was career services. They helped me out with building my resume, making it look better than what it was, because I didn't have the best resume back in the day. And they helped me out a lot with interview preparation and cover letters. I wasn't familiar with cover letters because in El Salvador, I believe we don't use them. So it was a little bit of a shock when I came here and like, cover letter. What's a cover letter? And career services definitely helped me out in the end. And they helped me out getting my co-op term, which they keep job posting boards, and as a Fanshawe alumni or student, you can apply whenever you can. It's really helpful because they really care for you. They really want you to get a job in the end.
Student success is the main goal. And yeah, we will be talking about career services. This morning's presentations were hosted by our career services team. So they really are fantastic. They do so many wonderful things for students. And Abby, how was your experience as a student at Fanshawe? What helped you as a student start preparing to look for work?
Yeah, so as everyone has mentioned so far, so Career Services, Darlene and her team is fantastic. They have been super helpful throughout the resume making process and how to apply for jobs and how to search for jobs specifically, right? The other thing is that helped me a lot doing the volunteer around the campus. So going down to the gym sections there, to the athletic department, you can always look for opportunities to do some volunteers, and maybe seek some volunteers in the international department. And do networking. Now we have virtual networking events around the campus and around the city, which always help and build your network, and that can eventually help you find your career growth and jobs there.
That's the perfect answer, because our next question is all around why it's important to get involved on campus and how that contributes to your network. Each of you as students were super involved and active, which is fantastic. So I'm wondering, can you explain to students why it is so important to be volunteering, to be joining clubs, to be active on campus, and how that helps you with your network? And we'll start with Abby this time, kind of leading into your last question. Can you tell us some examples of how you were involved and how that's helped grow your network?
Yeah, absolutely. So frankly, like coming to a new country where you don't have any network, you don't know anyone there, right? So you have to start from scratch and build up your network. And getting into the networking event, that would be a wonderful step to it. So once you get into the community, you get to know people, people get to know you, and they know what skills you have and what you're studying at Fanshawe and what skills you're capturing, and that can help them in somehow, or where they can refer you to for part-time jobs or any full-time jobs after you graduate. When I moved in here, I did different type of volunteer throughout the city. I was part of the community volunteer opportunities there, where we planted trees around the city. I did for the junior classes there, where you go in and help the teachers with their teaching processes, and you get to know how you can learn the professor side of the world as well, and where you can see what technologies is available here, and also I would say LEDC, London Economic Development. That was one of the greatest place to do the volunteer as well. You get to know a lot of different field people there. You get to join their virtual networking or their in-person networking. You make your own network, and throughout that network, you can learn different skills, and you can let them know that this is what you're doing right now, and they can refer you to a position where you're looking to go to, right?
Yeah, it doesn't just have to be involvement on campus. Off-campus opportunities are fantastic as well, and a wide variety just introduces you to more people. So that's great. Ricardo, would you like to speak about the importance of being active, especially given your association with the FSU?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As you may suspect, I think it's pretty important to be involved in this kind of activities, right? Go to school and get good grades are important for sure, but this is kind of what is expected from all students, right? If you are going to school, we expect that you succeed, especially if you are international, because we know you have to put a lot of planning, a lot of effort to be here, and a lot of money as well. So you don't want to waste this opportunity. So I think the extracurricular opportunities is a way to show that you are going to the extra mile. How are you going to show your commitment, your involvement? How are you going to like connect with people besides the classroom? Especially now that we are all online, I think this is so important. And this can open doors to you, because at the classroom, you don't have that many opportunities to show to your teachers and to people around you and people around the campus that you are committed and that you have like such and such skills, that you are good in communication or that you are good in planning. You can show this in your assignments and participation, but I think you can take more advantage of those skills if you are involved in extracurricular activities. So for example, just telling you a story. We were hiring the new executive team for a position. And one of the candidates I had worked with her in the Inspire program at the career service. So I've already know her because I knew she was very committed. She was very participative. She was like good in communication skills. So I had the opportunity to work with her. And also she asked for an informative interview. I don't know if you know, like if you are familiar with this.
That might be a new concept for some students.
Yeah, just like quick explaining, in Canada, it's kind of normal and people used to do that. They try to schedule a meeting with you, like just to get information about the company, if you have like an open position, and to understand how's that feel to work in the company, what's the culture, what's the process, such as such. And this lady talked to me and we did a great interview, and I gave her many information. It's not like an advantage because this information is available, but he took all this information and used in her advantage during the interview. So this is just an example of how these extracurricular activities can connect you with the right people and put you like in a good spot if you are showing commitment and everything. So, and the opposite can happen as well. Sometimes I just receive many emails from students like, hey, I just want a job. It's not that way the network works in any place, especially here in Canada. So I think it's super important, these opportunities.
Yeah, to be involved, it just connects you to those people. And like your story shows, you already knew one of the applicants. So for her, volunteering with the Inspire helped connect her to someone who was hiring in the future, which is fantastic. So there was a direct connection there. Gabriel, can you tell us about how you were involved on campus and how that impacted you and helped you in growing a network and your future job search, why that was a valuable experience for you?
Okay, so I'll just say that at first I was fortunate enough to be part of the international office. So that was a big launch for me. But because I worked in the international office, my networking expanded. I became part of the FSU based on word of mouth of how I was working in the international office. That was a really good step in my career because in the end, it boosted me for more opportunities. In the end, it gave me a reputation that I'm reliable, hard worker, and definitely it has impacted in what I'm doing right now. More than that, every time I was part of multiple extracurriculars. One of them was just for fun, the Fanshawe parks, where you got to go camping, and it maybe not related to networking, but it did help me get a bunch of new friends, different connections that to this day I'm still in touch with them. And it's very important that you build up your networking because in the end, that might be the difference between getting good recommendation or not. Like the more you get involved in campus or any activities, even virtual activities, it expands your number of opportunities that you can number of opportunities basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that example, starting in the international office and how that led you to another opportunity to get involved. And I think that really shows that even if an opportunity maybe doesn't look like it's directly related to something that's going to help you get a job in the future, maybe it's just something fun or something that looks interesting to you, that can still lead you down a path to where you eventually want to be. And as students, you have at least 1 year, if not 2, 3, or 4 of study before you can get your permanent professional position. So take advantage of those opportunities and see will they lead you by the time you graduate, because you never know, it can really add up to some great things. Now, right now, obviously with COVID and the pandemic, you can see all of us on the screen in front of you. Each one of us is working with more technology and probably doing a lot more virtually. What tips would you give to students who are looking to get involved and start participating on campus and growing their network, but have to do so kind of in a post-pandemic era? Do you know of virtual ways to connect with students? Do you have just general tips on that for students who are starting this in COVID? And Ricardo, we'll start with you.
Oh, what a responsibility. This question is a little bit tough. I think it's hard to get involved socially the same way we are involved inside the college, unfortunately, because I had the opportunity to study in person for 2 months, and then the pandemic started and I finished my whole program like in this online format. But even though sometimes it's a little bit hard to make some new friends in this online format, I think it's super possible and it's super easy to get involved in colleges activities because they are like transferring all the activities to the online format. So for example, we are here today. So we are doing an activity here. We have like at FSU, we have clubs online. We have the class reps program online. We have peer tutoring online. I could access all the career services projects and events, even though we are online. So I think the main goal is not let this to slow down your goals. Like you can keep on track even though we are online, because I know like at Fanshawe we are doing a super effort to make the student experience awesome. So you're probably gonna get many opportunities. So don't waste your time and don't keep waiting like the pandemic finish, because things are going on, like we are doing stuff. And if you're gonna wait until we get back in person, probably you're gonna get behind. So take all the opportunities you have, connect with people, use a lot LinkedIn, for example. I think LinkedIn is a good way to connect with people and to see what is happening, what's going on inside campus. We have many of our teachers, staff, representatives, leaders there. So they give many important advices. They share links, they share resources. And also we have the Fanshawe website. You can find everything there. So I know it's not like the usual way, but try not to let this stop you. Like keep going and keep focused on your goals, and soon, hopefully, we're gonna be together in person.
Hopefully, yeah. And yeah, that's a great tip. It looks different and it's different than in the past, but there are still definitely opportunities out there. And they're just maybe new opportunities. So like you said, with LinkedIn, connecting with your teachers, connecting with your classmates, maybe practicing or improving your digital networking skills through LinkedIn, which is something that does take a little bit of practice to develop. Abby, did you have anything you wanted to add in terms of, virtual networking?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, so as you both have mentioned, connect with your professors on the LinkedIn, and just be connected with them, because they can be one of your reference when you're applying for jobs as well, right? Because initially when you're here, you might not have any experience working for a Canadian employer. So at least your professor or your mentor, they can give you a reference based on your schedules in the class, how you performed, and how well you attended the classes, and how well you performed in your group projects, right? So yeah, so just be positive, just be connected with anyone you can at the Fanshawe, with your professors and through your mentors. I believe we still have the peer-to-peer mentorship program, right? So yeah, so that is a great program. I have joined that in the past when I was a student, and that can be a really good platform to you to be connected at this time, because you can meet virtually with your mentor and get to know how you can succeed in your current program, and to get to your jobs eventually.
Yeah, definitely a good tip about still developing those relationships virtually with your professors in particular, because they are so knowledgeable about their field and their industry. And if you're applying for a position, even an entry-level position in some of these industries in London, your professor might well be connected to that company or know someone at that company. So they're a great resource. Gabriel, was there anything you'd like to add around virtual networking and still pursuing those opportunities while students are kind of in this pandemic era?
Definitely. Just like Ricardo, my last semester was online due to COVID. And surprisingly, it was one of the semesters where I had more interactions with individuals, despite it was virtual. Career Services provides a lot of webinars and a lot of services for us to apply. I believe one of them was Career Fest, where it was all virtually, and I applied to many jobs. It was really helpful because it gave me an experience on how to practice for my interviews and what they're expecting. in any resume that you write. And one thing that Abby mentioned earlier was the mentorship program. That was, I forgot to mention that I was part of it as well. And it was really helpful because I'm still in touch with my mentor, even though I graduated. We every now and then we talk about the industry, or even just talk as friends. Like, because it comes to that point in the end. So don't be discouraged by the virtual aspect of the situation that's going right now, but it will get better eventually. And just take advantage. Keep your eyes peeled on the on webinars on career services and the international office. They will provide a lot of services for you to join and improve your networking skills.
That's great to hear that you're still in touch with your mentor. Yeah.
Can I add one information, Caitlin?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm also participating in the mentorship program. It was awesome. I started as a mentee and then I became a mentor, and also was connected with industry professional, which is great. And also as an HR professional, I think this online environment is kind of the future of the work environment. So it's better us to get used to it, because many companies are not getting back to the 100% in-person office. I know many companies that already they are not in the office anymore because they realize this way is kind of more productive, it's less expensive. So even in the work environment, I had to get used to this new format, like replying by emails, Zoom calls. So I think it's also a training for you guys to get prepared for this new era of the marketplace and the work environment.
Yeah, that's a great point. Some industries, especially smaller businesses, are, if not being fully online after the pandemic, will definitely most likely be more flexible in how they offer hours and work locations. So this is a good opportunity to develop those skills, time management, online etiquette, all of those skills that you'll need in your career. That's even happening now. So that's a great point. Thank you. What I'd like to talk about now is when you were first graduating and looking for that kind of first professional opportunity full-time after you finished school. How was that experience for you? Did you have any strategies or tips that you came across that were particularly helpful to you that you would want to share with students now, or any just kind of words of encouragement for students who are graduating and looking for that professional position? And Gabriel, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay, so let's see, what did I do? So when I graduated, I started applying for jobs before I even graduated, like around 3 months before. That way I would have secured a job once I graduated in January. It took me a little bit longer because COVID was hitting, and there were a lot of issues going on. But in the end, it all worked out because I had a couple of interviews, and even though I didn't get the job for those interviews, they helped me out as a practice session. And in the end, I believe I was a master in interviews. Like, I already know what to say, how to react, how to dress. Always, you got to dress professionally. With you got to look good in the interview and shave. But one big thing was that in my co-op semester, I did a good job for them. I believe I did a good job at least. And my at the time, he was my boss, the dean of School of Technology, Science, and Trades, and he gave me a recommendation letter based on what I did for them. So that helped me out a lot with my preparation for jobs, because I could back up my word, my skills, with this kind of letter. So it's always good to ask for your professors. It doesn't have to be necessarily your boss or Xbox. It can be your professors, and tell them for a recommendation letter. But here's the catch: you have to work for it. You cannot expect them to give you a recommendation letter if you're not performing well. So that was one big thing that I'm pretty grateful for. The other thing was that I joined a lot of career fairs, virtual career fairs. But in the end, what helped me out more was networking. Contact passed my resume, and I backed it up with my reference letter and my skills and my grades. And the company saw I was fit, so they hired me. I'm fortunate for that. I think I'm missing something else. I believe that that's it for the moment. Oh, resume build. You got to make sure the resume is properly built, the cover letter. And one advice that I got from everyone in my family, my friends, is like to keep applying every day for jobs and just keep applying for the industry that you want. Not any job. It has to be one that interests you, a career path that you want to choose. And it may take some time, but in the end, you get it. Like, don't get discouraged if you don't, because that means the place is not meant for you. So eventually you'll find the proper place.
Yeah, like even what you said, the first few interviews, they were maybe not the job you got hired for, but they were still beneficial to you, and you still got to practice and hone those skills and make those connections with those companies for the future. Perhaps they'll remember you. So great advice there. Abby, I'll go to you next. When you were first looking for jobs, what strategies did you find useful? What tips would you share with students?
No, absolutely. I would like to just add something what Gabriel said. So when you're applying for jobs, that might not be the first job you applied for, you get it. But at least you will learn from it, that what went wrong in there, or what could you have done better the next time. So that is very important to learn from there and be positive. Just don't be scared or be afraid for applying for more jobs if you're just getting no from 10 of them. But that can at least give you a lifetime experience and get to know a different kind of people who are interviewing you, because everyone have a different style of interviewing candidates, right? So just be open, be positive again, and just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be successful at the end. In my experience, when I was about to graduate, before that, I started working for the international department. So I did a project for the international there on that time. So being from a project management program, that project has helped me learn new skills, getting into the like how the work can be break down, how getting the things work on time. And that program was, the project was mostly virtually. I needed to connect to people virtually around the globe and get the information, which is right now is very important because pretty much everything is online right now. So after getting that experience, I started applying for jobs. I might have applied for 5 or 10 jobs where I got refusal. I applied for TD twice. The first time it was a refusal, but I didn't get that let me depressed or anything. So I updated my resume, adopted some new skills, which I felt that after the first interview, I should have those before I'm applying for a job there. So the next time I went fully prepared. So I applied for a job, and I could feel from the interview, at the end of the interview, that it went well. The interviewer was quite happy. So at the end, I think it all depends when you're in your program. Just feel like just see like which field you're gonna go to after, right? When you're in your last semester or your first semester, you should know what your vision is, what your focus is, and just Google that kind of job. If it's a customer service job at Walmart or Costco, just see what are the requirements are, and how can your current program help you getting there. So if you see like that skills might not be you completely get from your program, just seek help from your mentors. Just go to the peer-to-peer mentorship program, or get a mentor, ask your professor to be a mentor who can guide you properly, gain those skills, which can help you get a job right after you graduate.
I love that, looking at the company and the field that you're interested in and seeing what skills are necessary and where you can maybe develop extra knowledge kind of outside of your program. And I'll even take that a step further and say, for students throughout your studies, even if you're not going to be applying for full-time positions, professional positions in your level 1, your level 2, you can still occasionally look at job postings, see what they're looking for, talk to your mentors, like Abby was saying, and just kind of be aware of what's going to be required when you graduate. There are a lot of great resources where you can study different industries in London. The London Economic Development Corporation, LEDC, is one of the best resources that I can recommend as a great starting place. So again, even though we're virtual, take advantage and kind of do some research and just poke around a bit, see what you find to help yourself prepare. And Ricardo, we'll go to you. I know how your positions came about, or it's a little different, but I'm still interested to hear what tips you would give to students.
Yes, yes. It was a little bit harder because I had to convince 20,000 students to vote in myself. So yeah, it was different, but in this experience, I could realize how important my connections were in this time that I was here, because I need people to help me, right? To get votes and to get engagement. And I got like 1,000 votes and I don't know 1,000 people. So probably it's like this team effort and everyone that was helping me. So I'm gonna try to talk a little bit about how was the path before that, and maybe you can take some tip from that. So when I started here, I have a background in communication, so I'm not that young. So I had a career before, and I think this is an important thing to keep in mind. When you are starting again here, sometimes you don't get your initial position in the field that you are already working. And it is a little bit tough for us to accept that, but like you have to understand that you are not start all over again. You have all your experience and all your background that you've already conquered, and no one is gonna take that away from you. So you're gonna be able to show your abilities in a faster way to your employers and to people who are involved with you. So at the time I started as a volunteer, because here the volunteer experience is very important. It's not that important in Brazil, to be honest, my country. There, they never asked you about volunteer opportunities, even though they do not like publicize that much volunteer opportunities. And as soon as I get here, I realized this is super important for the Canadian culture. And this is awesome. So the pandemic hit. Before the pandemic, I was involved with you, Caitlin, and with Darlene and the career service. So I participated in many opportunities like International Week, Open House, Fanshawe Friends, like to receive new people on the college. I think you and Darlene got annoyed of me, like always offering some help and like wanting to participate. But after the pandemic hit, I was thinking, oh my God, how can I keep doing this kind of work from my home? And I founded a certified listening company. It's basically you are emotional support for people who are passing through a hard time. You are not a counselor, but you can chat with people just for people to vent out. So you have to pass through a training, and after the training, you can be a volunteer. So I started from there, and through this volunteer position, I had many contacts and inside Fanshawe as well. So I remember, Caitlin, I was talking to you like, I want like do more things, new positions, blah, blah, blah. And you said, oh, FSU is hiring. So I went to the website and applied for it. And when I applied for the FSU, I need like many connections as well. So I had some recommendation letters from my professors, a recommendation letter from my former employer. And also Darlene helped me a lot with that because we had many opportunities to work together. And then I start my work there. So to sum up, I think it's important for you to start, because in these opportunities, don't think an opportunity is a small opportunity. I think each opportunity you can find better opportunities from there. You have to start at some place. So don't try to do your best in each small opportunity you have, in each small activity that you get involved, because probably people will start noticing your commitment, noticing you, and they're gonna see you all the time involved and participating, and they're gonna remember your face, your name, and start with their recommendation letter. And I think the doors will open if you get involved this way. So that is kind of my tip based on my experience here. I got a formal job at a supermarket grocery store. Here is grocery store. So I started from there as well. And to be honest, helped me a lot because when I arrived here in Canada, I had like a lack of confidence with my language skills and everything. So I think all the opportunities you can take some lesson and take advantage of it.
I think that's a great tip because, yeah, even when we talk about getting involved and getting into volunteering and active on campus and in your new community, sometimes students think that has to be a really big commitment and a lot of time. And that's not necessarily the case. Things like open house, that's one afternoon, once a semester. But it does leave those connections available to you, and you can, as Ricardo was saying, start having people recognize your face and remember you and think of you when there are different opportunities. So even getting involved in small one-time events or just, small commitments can really lead to other things. So that's fantastic to have that point shared. Thank you. I'm just going to the chat to see if we have any questions from students. If you do have a question that you want to ask these alumni, please feel free to go to the Q&A and type in a question because you have them here in front of you. So let's use them while we can to get all of those tips. So I'm just going to pull one out here. A question, we've talked about this a little bit, where we can find volunteer opportunities here in London. So Ricardo, I might throw that one to you, just with the Fanshawe Student Union. But again, it doesn't have to be through the school. You can definitely find opportunities through your community groups or through off-campus, maybe nonprofit organizations that are looking for volunteers. So I'll start with you for that question, Ricardo.
Okay, so inside campus, I would recommend you to take a look at the FSU website. At Fanshawe website, we have the Class Reps program that I think it's an amazing opportunity for you to start to develop this kind of leadership skills, because you can raise the voices of your students mates and your classmates and everyone around the college. You can participate in many events, meet and greets, and get your CCR hours. CCR is your co-curricular record hours that goes with your transcript. So it's a way of recognition for your participation. We also have clubs. You can join a club, as Gabriel said. Gabriel did many friends there. So, but if you go there and you can find a club that you are interested in, you can start a new club as a president or vice president. So why not? And this is a leadership position as well, and we'll give you like more exposure, more visibility about the work you have to, about the work you are doing and what you have to offer inside campus. Also, we have peer tutoring. We have the career service that we already told about, the Inspiring Mentoring. I'm at Inspire since my first day, I think. As I said, I started as a mentee and they prepared me to become a mentor. So I think this is an amazing opportunity as well to get a volunteer position. And I think International Center, we have Fanshawe Friends, right, Caitlin? And we have some more opportunities, but in this online format, I know we kind of have some restrictions about it. So inside campus, we have these opportunities, but also, I'm not gonna remember the website, but we have one website here in London that gather all the volunteer information in one place. I don't know if you know the name of this website. Oh my God.
It's called Pillar Nonprofit.
Yeah, this website is amazing because you go just to one place and you can find like volunteer opportunities all around London and like in the surroundings here. So I encourage you to try to keep visiting these websites and see what opportunities you like there. There are many. It's not hard to get a volunteer opportunity.
Gabe, there's a question. Can you talk a little bit about the clubs that you were part of as a student, Gabriel?
Absolutely. So I was part of the Fanshawe Parks Recreation Club. I believe it was the name. I think it changed. But what it was to just go hiking, meet people with the same mindset of exploring. It was a really nice club We also tried making a rock climbing club, but there's some regulations due to sports, and it can be a little bit dangerous. But that didn't. In the end, we all gathered in the rock climbing wall at Fanshawe. There's a rock climbing wall, if anyone didn't know. And I actually tried making a club myself, but in the end, I focused more on my career rather than the club. So I had to let go of the club. It was definitely a fun experience because you meet a lot of people, and not necessarily with clubs, but also I volunteered with the FSU multiple times where I'd have to be a chaperone for students, and we would go to Niagara Falls, Canada Wonderland, and yeah, I believe only those two at the time because it was the most popular. So I believe I went to the Niagara Falls around 7 times. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it because you got to take all the students. You could see all the happiness in their face, and honestly, the Niagara Falls are beautiful. Also, Canada's Wonderland is spectacular, and yeah, that was pretty much what I was part of during my school years, and obviously the international office where I tried to volunteer in any area, but I also worked with them, so it was great opportunities for me.
You got the
Yeah, it's great
funniest
to.
opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm pretty grateful for them. Yeah, I really enjoyed working for the international office and the FSU and volunteering.
It can be fun. Volunteering doesn't have to be serious, and it can be hard work and lots of work, but it can also just be fun things to do and a great way to spend your time. There's a great question from a student. Could all three of you recommend some tips to manage your time between studies, part-time job, and the volunteering and other activities that you participated in as a student? And I think we'll start with Abby right now, because I know you're still super busy with tons of projects going on. So how do you manage your time between all of these?
So basically I prioritize things. So based on, so I know like in the day, like if I have 8 hours I can work on. I know in this for the first 4 hours I have classes I have to go to, and of course then I'm gonna have a projects to work on, right? I so then I just put them toward the day, just divide them and just mention that on my phone with the reminders that at this time this is due, this time this is due. I try to sync my calendar with my quizzes, with my submissions on Fanshawe Online. That helps, and working on for a part-time job along with with your program, that can be uh, you can do that, absolutely. I have done it, and I'm sure everyone has did that. So it can be stressful, but you have to find a way to keep you motivated throughout your program, and for your work as well. What works well for me was I used to do I used to do 3 jobs, and on that time I was thinking, like, how can I keep myself motivated? And then just one thing came to my mind is my goal, my vision, that where I wanted to be. Can I be there with just one job? Can I be there just being focusing on studies, focusing on just part-time work? No, like it all has to go side by side. So you have to make your life a balanced life. So when you know that you how much time you know how much time your study needs from you, right? Can you manage that with your day, with your job? Yes, great. So just go ahead with that. If not, the first priority would be your studies. So focus on that, and get your part-time work on the day when you don't have any submissions to you, or you have more capacity to work on. Um, I think the main take is just keep yourself motivated, or find a way to keep yourself motivated, and you can do multitasking. You can do multiple things at the same time.
That's great. Gabriel, how did you manage between everything you were involved in and your studies?
Well, I have a couple of suggestions, and the biggest tip probably is don't leave everything to last minute. That's terrible. It's in all my career during my career, I never did an all-nighter. I just don't function like that, and I don't like working under pressure. I feel like sometimes I have to, because you have to unfortunately. But it's better to work with a nice pace. Like for example, every Sunday you can sit down and organize your week, schedule your work, and know what has to be submitted. But yeah, at the time that I was studying, the government allowed me to work only 20 hours a week. So that's really helpful because it lets you organize your days. Sometimes one day is going to be, you're not going to have classes one day. You can just focus on work. Sometimes you're not going to have work, some classes. You can focus on doing studying. But it's really interesting that in London, most of the employers are really understandable with what needs to be done in your career, such as exams. They're pretty flexible with that kind of situations, as long as you're honest and give them proper communication in advance, they can help you out with that kind of situation. So yeah, did I did a lot of planning, and I didn't leave anything till last minute. Sometimes I had to because it just happens, unfortunately. But that's my advice: don't leave everything till last minute. All nighters are terrible.
Yeah, life happens, but the more kind of preparation and planning you can give yourself, and like Abby was saying, putting your quizzes into your phone and syncing everything to your electronic calendars, not leaving things to last minute will definitely help. Ricardo, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yes, a more practical suggestion. Open a Google Calendar. You're gonna need it. I have all my appointments and all my assignments and due dates there. I think it's important for you to keep on track. When I when I was in my first term, due to the pandemic situation, the government allowed us to work more than 20 hours. So I was working almost 40 hours, and then I got the FSU job. So I was like trying to manage two jobs plus school and everything. So I think like being organized is a major thing. But also I think if we have one positive side of everything that is happening is flexibility. I think the pandemic with classes online is easier for you to manage your time since you can watch your classes later on, right? So I could manage my schedule and my classes in a time that was like functioning for me. So take advantage of that because it's much easier, like get flexibility and watch our classes later or sooner if you need it to go to work or if you need to focus in a professional project. And also another suggestion for international students, feel the workload of your program before start working, because I know when we hit Canada, when we landed here, we are like so excited. We want to get a job. Sometimes like students reach out to me saying, hey, I want to work at FSU inside college and outside. I need the money, I need this and that. And I know, I get you, but feel your workload first, like feel the workload of your program, because Fanshawe, we have lots of assignments. You're gonna have to be very dedicated to get your grades, and don't leave your studies behind. Remember, always remember that's the main purpose of you being here. So sometimes we have like students failing and not passing the course because they were more focused on their work than their studies, and they can get in trouble due to visa, money, etc., etc. I know like it's an individual situation for each of us, but focus in your studies and remember that's what you are here for. You're gonna have time to like start again your professional path. So I think you have to manage this kind of, like you have to manage your time and split well this division, because sometimes students, they just forget they are here studying. So yeah, that is an important advice.
Yeah, studies do come first. But I like how you said to kind of see what your workload is going to be like, because the Canadian education system might be very different than what you were used to in your home country. I know in some countries, you just maybe have a final exam. You're not used to having assignments throughout the semester, or maybe it's one paper and an exam, not a quiz every week. So it can be different, and learning to manage those different workloads is part of your cultural transition to Canada, and it will help you in your future career when you do graduate. So taking a little time to get used to studies before you add in 10 volunteer opportunities and a job might be a good idea, or kind of slowly add things in as you get more comfortable with your time management strategies, definitely. We have another great question here from a student. Can you share some tips on how each of you have maintained your contacts and your network even after graduation? So for example, Gabriel, you said you still talk to your mentor that you had through the mentorship program, and you're not always going to be in constant contact with your network. So how do you maintain those connections? And we'll start with you, Gabriel.
Well, so with my mentor, when I was part of the mentorship program, we exchanged numbers so we could be in touch. And well, ever since then, every now and then, hey Tom, how's it going? How's your day going? How's it work? And before COVID happened, we used to go rock climbing. We used to go for hikes. We went for London Knights hockey game. A lot of fun. There's no hockey in El Salvador, but I got to experience it here, and it was really, really nice experience. The other thing is, I have back in the day, I was emailing my professors just for asking them for tips, asking them for any advice and what to read, or any books, or any new skills to learn. You'd be surprised how a lot of people are willing to help you. It's just a matter of you asking them. I found that surprising because I'm not used to getting asking people for help, but it's really interesting how many people are willing to help you and how many skills you can learn. So that's a big thing. LinkedIn is also a major contribution. LinkedIn is pretty much your business profile. You get all your connections, so your previous employers, new employers, or prospect employers. It's a good way to get yourself known out there.
Yeah, LinkedIn is definitely a tool that will help you keep contact with your network for sure. Ricardo, how do you stay in touch with your network?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same as Gabriel. I have like a perk for me, like it's easier because I'm at Fanshawe and I'm working there. So I have the opportunity to meet with my connections all the time. So for example, you, Darlene, Laurel, everyone, like I'm always crossing paths with you, but also LinkedIn for me, it has been like the main platform to keep my connections here, since I have some connections from the work environment as well that is not like inside Fanshawe. So I try to keep them posted about what is happening, what is going on in my professional life. So for example, I finished my program. So, hey guys, I finished my program. That is good, like to keep them updated. So if they have any kind of opportunity, probably they're gonna see that, hey, maybe Ricardo is a fit for this position. And of course, always keep in touch. I think professional network, it's totally different from your friends. You don't have to connect every day. Like once you establish that kind of connection, you're gonna have like a process of like sharing content that both of you are interested in, sharing experiences, talking in specific situations. So I think LinkedIn is a good platform for that.
Yeah, definitely a great platform, and just active posting and sharing things, maybe not direct with that person, but showing successes and changes always reminds people that they have a connection to you. That's great. Abby, how do you keep your network informed and stay in contact with those people?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same way what Ricardo and Gabriel have done. Social media, LinkedIn has been great. Just make sure your LinkedIn is up to date, and you keep sharing your new projects you have completed, or your new job, or your latest experience with technology, or any whichever field you'll be end up going to, right? What I used to do is and I still do it. I just keep sending updates to my mentors and to my network by mail, email, or if I have their contact number, just by a message, just letting them know that, hey, this is what I'm doing now, or this is what I've accomplished. I remember when I used to work for TD Cantress. I worked there for 5 years, I believe. So I initially got a mentor there in the technology department because I have an IT background. And I've been keep telling him that apart from my job, this is a project I have completed as a volunteer for TD for this department. This is what I've accomplished. Now I'm moving to this department next month. So I did that continuously for 4 months, and I never met that person in person. Basically, I just keep getting messages back. Okay, great. Just keep me posted of your progress. That's good to know you're doing this, and this is a suggestion you can do this to get into this position. And I remember I was on a contract job. I just sent a message, email to him. I was like, hey, I'm doing this now. I just completed this project. I'm on this contract job for 3 months, and might be applying for this job going forward. And he called for a meeting, and he offered me a job in his department because he knew what I have done and what skills I have, what projects I've completed. And that job wasn't posted. He basically created a job for me specifically. So you never know which one of your network might help you. Just make sure by any sort of means of communicating, emails, mails, phone call, text messages, just be in touch with them. Just keep them updated until they say, okay, well, now you're good. You can mentor me, right? Or you can mentor someone who needs your help. That will help you somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, it is a two-way street, like we say. You want to keep your network informed of what you're doing and grow those connections, but you also have to have an interest in the other person and what they're doing and what they're interested in, and make sure that it's a reciprocal relationship. It's not just you expecting something from them, that you're also sharing what you think they would be interested in. So really great tips and good strategies for everyone.
Can I add one more information, Caitlin?
Yeah,
Sorry.
of course. No, please.
I think it's important for you also to get involved in events from your field, because eventually you're gonna start meeting the same people again and again and again. And I think this is an opportunity for you to chat. So for example, we are here in the waiting room, waiting for an event to start. So you can say, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. And like you start a conversation. So these events, despite the fact that it's amazing for you to get all the information in the event, you also have the opportunity to get connected with people. So.
Yep, great tip. We have a student who's asked what the average number of months is before a student who graduates finds employment. Now that changes year to year, but the Fanshawe graduate employment rate, the last rate I saw was about 90%. So that meant that 90% of Fanshawe graduates had a full-time position within 6 months of graduating. So we're pretty proud of our graduation rate and our employment rate, because we know that students are able to go and find careers in their fields, which is fantastic. That's the whole goal of the college, to support students to have success in their chosen careers. If you would like more stats and information, you can always go to the Fanshawe website. It's all on the Fanshawe website. Now we have about 15 minutes left, and I'm going to ask what I think is one of the hardest questions for panelists. If you had to give a new student who's starting just at Fanshawe, it's their first semester, brand new, one tip, what is the one tip that you think is most important for a new student? It can be in terms of developing a network or just general success at Fanshawe or success in Canada, but what's your kind of like one key tip if you had to pick one for a brand new student in Canada? And I'm going to pick on Abby and ask you to go first.
Yeah, for sure. I can share from my experience. So in your first semester, just get to know what platforms you have available in terms of your study first. Just get to know because when I moved in here, I moved from India, like we don't have pleasurism part in there. So just get to know the turn in your programs in the Fanshawe Online, get to learn Fanshawe Online better, where your quizzes are, where your submission is, how you can contact your professor, how you can get in touch with your classmates for your group projects, or where your discussions are. That would be the first thing I would have I did, and I would like you to give a tip that just get to know the Fanshawe Online better. And then from there, that's the first step you've already done. When you know Fanshawe Online, because you can get in touch with the professors from there. They will be the first one to mentor you. They can guide you throughout your program, as well as the career side, because most of the professors we have, they do have an industry experience. They have worked in their fields. They have a really good chunk of experience which they can share with you, and from their lifetime experience, you can know how and what skills you can opt in for. Explore the athletic department of FSU, Fanshawe Student Union. Just go to the website, just see what options are available there. Just get to know what sports we have available on campus, and what can you be part in if you have any interest in cricket, baseball, squash, anything, right? And you can as well do volunteers for that if you have played that game back home. The other thing would be just go to international department, just see if there's any volunteer opportunities there. Go throughout the campus when it's open, and just explore the campus, get to know where the career services is, where the food court is, and maybe plan an event for the community, right? The Indian students, they can plan a Diwali celebration along with FSU, right? Or any other events which can be part of your country. It's not here right now. You can propose that to FSU or to the international department, and I'm sure they would be happy to hear it, and we'll do the best to have that happen, right? So I think that's pretty much it from my side of view. Yeah.
Get to know the college, get to know FOL, get to know the resources available to you at the start. Yeah, great tip. Gabriel, what would be your number one tip for a new student for success in Fanshawe, success in Canada? What's your big tip?
Well, my biggest tip will be make sure you choose something that you love, because in the end, it's going to be your career and it's what you're going to be focusing on for the rest of your life. So that's a big, very important tip that my father, everyone told me in El Salvador, that tip. And I guess I followed it because I like what I'm doing. So just make sure to take something that interests you. Don't take something that you feel like it's too easy for you and you just want to get by. No, because in the end, employers can understand if you are actually passionate about what you're doing, and they can understand if they're not. So it's a big thing.
Find your passion and pursue it. Great tip. And Ricardo, what would be your number one tip to give to new students to set them up for success?
Maybe my tip is going to be a little cliche, but get involved and take advantage of all the opportunities that you're going to find. From services to volunteer opportunities, even counseling, you are paying for that. So if you are not well, like if you need some mental health support, go to counseling. So take advantage of all the perks and all the resources that we have at Fanshawe. For me, it was like extraordinary when I started my career and my path at Fanshawe, because I was not used to that kind of structure and all the possibilities that we have here. So take advantage of all these opportunities, because this make this experience valuable for you. Enjoy every moment and take all the opportunities you have. I think that's the main thing that I tried to follow during this path, and I would like to advise you to do the same.
Mm-hmm. You'll get what you put into your experience in any college, not just at Fanshawe. So if you get to know the services, if you decide to get involved and you kind of put yourself out there, as scary as that can be sometimes, I know if I was in another country and trying to get involved and didn't know where to start, that might be a little intimidating. But everyone's here to support you, and we all want to see you succeed. So if you put that energy into it, what you get back will just be 10 times, I think is great. Now, we've talked a lot about services available on campus, the career office, the student entrepreneurial office, the international office, the Fanshawe Student Union, lots and lots of services available. All of the students participating in this webinar will hear more about that in tomorrow's sessions and at your program orientations later this week. So you'll have a lot of information coming to you this week. And of course, If you need anything, you can always contact the international office by emailing Fanshawe Cares or international@fanshawec.ca. We're happy to help you out, even just directing you to other resources. We have time for probably one more question, and I'm just going to see if we've had any new things come into the chat that are from students. I'll give everyone 1 minute to ask a question if they have any last questions into the chat. Any practical questions around, arriving and quarantine, we won't talk about those here, but you're welcome to email Fanshawe Cares. We're happy to help you that way. We just want to focus on using our alumni to their best advantage right now. What's your favorite part about Fanshawe? What surprised you and was your favorite part about Fanshawe? So Gabriel, we'll start with you. What was your favorite thing to do? What was your favorite experience?
Okay, so what I was surprised about Fanshawe is all the facilities that help you out: career services, mentoring, library, research. Research is really important. You need to know the APA format, and in the library, they make sure to help you out. This is to avoid plagiarism. And probably one of the best things about Fanshawe was the rock climbing wall. I used to spend a lot of time there, and it was a nice sport. I got to practice it more there because in El Salvador is very limited the amount of rock climbing that we have. And there's a lot of services such as squash courts, basketball courts. I've seen people playing cricket, badminton. I've never been part of it, but I'd be more than happy to try it. And there's a lot of activities that happen in events. The FSU makes sure that there's a lot of events. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. That's a great surprise for students. Abby, what was your favorite part of Fanshawe? What surprised you the most?
Well, my favorite part is everyone is open to you, like to your suggestions, to hear from you, and they're very helpful. The culture is very diverse in Fanshawe. Whenever I come on campus, I just feel like it's home, because I never felt like I'm just an unknown person here. Even though if you don't know anyone, they won't let you feel like that you're just new to this country. They let you feel welcoming, warm. And again, as Gabriel mentioned, like many services available which you can take advantages of, right? Athletic department, FSU, international department, you name it, like it's there. So just make sure you explore everything, and just you will find something you will love about Fanshawe.
You're always part of the Fanshawe family, even when you graduate.
Yes.
Ricardo, what's your favorite piece of Fanshawe? What was surprising to you as a new student?
Yeah, first of all, what Abby and Gabriel said, this is like pretty evident. Like we have a full structure. It's amazing. And it was like, I was mesmerized when I realized that. But other than that, I think I feel Fanshawe embraced my potential. They gave me like opportunity to show my true self and to show the best I could, like in my best knowledge, how I could contribute and how I could get involved and how I could like stand out and having an amazing experience. So I was not expecting to be so embraced. And I don't know, I can never imagine that 1.5 years later, starting my program, I will be the next FSU president. So I think this was like a path. It was not like overnight or out of a Sunday. I started like building this, but I see Fanshawe like giving me many and many opportunities to show that I was capable to do it. So it was amazing. It's been amazing because I have 1 more year with you guys.
1 more year now as a leadership team member, yeah. Before we wrap up today, I want to give the presenters a chance if there's any last words that you wanted to share with students, words of wisdom or good luck or anything like that. Abby, did you have any last words that you wanted to share with these new students?
Yeah, so just welcome to Fanshawe. You have chosen a really great institution to get to learn from your studies, and this will be a lifetime experience for you. And all the professors and the mentors are very helpful. So this is a great decision you have done. Anytime you need any help or anything, just feel free to ask. Yeah, because no one will just refuse you to help you. Again, we are here. You can reach out to us anytime. So we'll be happy to assist you in any way possible. So yeah, welcome. Welcome to Fanshawe and welcome to Canada.
Thank you. Gabriel, any last words to new students?
Well, one that I always say is like work hard, but also play hard. Don't burn yourself out. It's a good thing to pace yourself and don't push too much pressure on yourself, because everything happens in the end for a reason. Like it all unfolds up, and make sure to exploit all the programs that Fanshawe has, such as the research, the ones that I mentioned earlier, pretty much.
Yeah. So many opportunities. Yeah, lots of time to go through them. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Ricardo, any last words that you'd like to share with these new students?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to Fanshawe. We are happy to have you here. And second of all, I just would like to encourage you to get involved with the political parts of being at campus. I know sometimes international students, they don't apply for this kind of position like directors or get involved in any decisions because we are here for no longer than 2 or 3 years, right? But we needed like former students making a difference to build Fanshawe as is today. So we have to make a difference now to build the Fanshawe for the future students as well. So get involved. We have 2 positions for directors, by the way, that we're gonna have like a by-election in September. So take advantage of that. Go to like, try to understand how Fanshawe works indeed and get involved, try to give your opinion and raise your voice and your classmates' voices, because this could make all the difference. And of course, contact FSU. We are there. We have many things like to provide you fun in that path. And I'm always available. I'm super accessible. So if you have any concerns, doubts, or if you wanna just to vent out, please reach out to me. I'll be glad to talk to you.
Great. And I'm happy to let our presenters know, our panelists know, we have lots of messages of thanks coming into the questions. I think students really appreciated your honesty and your experience. So I would also like to say thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of your knowledge with these new students. I think it's great to hear from someone who's been in their shoes and someone who can really relate to their experience. For our students today who are listening to this panel, thank you for joining us. I hope that you found the tips and the knowledge that was shared to be helpful to you and inspiring to you as you start your Fanshawe journey. This is day 1 of Fanshawe Works. We will return tomorrow for day 2. Lots of really useful information tomorrow, and we're ending tomorrow with the employer panel. So if you liked these guys, tomorrow is your opportunity to hear from employers in London and speak to them directly. So we look forward to having you back tomorrow. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you again to our panelists. It was great to have you.
Thank you
for having us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Have a great rest of your day.